Okay guys, I've got 3 Tekton screwdrivers. They're all the same. They're a #1 Phillips. And what I want to do is I want to test them for their chemical resistance. On the left side here we have gasoline, 6 tablespoons. Here we have lacquer thinner, 6 tablespoons. And on the right side we have 6 tablespoons of seafoam, which is that motor treatment. On Tekton's website, they do say the handles are resistant to chemicals. And so what I'm going to do is put these handles in each one of these fluids, leave them in there, and then see how they react. They also have writing on them. I want to see if the markings hold up or whether they come off. Here we see Tekton's website. And as for the polypropylene handle, there's the chemical resistance statement it makes. And the overmode grip. And again, gasoline, lacquer thinner, and seafoam. Now I use lacquer thinner a lot because I have it in spray bottles and I like to use it for cleaning my tools. When they get grease and stuff on them, I'll use them. I'll spray it on the floor if there's grease and clean that up, any oil spill. And I like to use lacquer thinner, so I use that product a lot. And seafoam, I'll mix that with a little bit of gas, the way they recommend, just to help keep with my small tools, small gasoline engine tools, just to help keep the carb clean. So what I'll do is I'll have a timer here. I'm not quite sure how long I'm going to leave them in. I'd want to at least leave them in an hour, but we shall see here. So let me start the timer, and I will put the screwdrivers in, and we shall see how that holds up. Okay guys, we're a little over an hour, as you can see from the timer, and all the product, the gasoline, the lacquer thinner, and also the seafoam, have become foggy. So here's the gasoline. And when I say foggy, I mean they're not clear as in before, okay? Now there's the lacquer thinner, and there's the seafoam. Let's examine each one of these. Here's the gasoline. I'm going to wipe it off. And as you can see, the markings came off. So the size is no longer on there. Now, these were soaking in there. What I tried to show was what would happen if your hands are dirty and oily and greasy and you were touching these and you didn't wipe them off, put them back in your toolbox or set them down on a shelf or whatever, and they stayed there, what would happen. So that's what I was trying to simulate by doing this. So the gasoline, trying to see, it doesn't appear to have done anything else. I do have a little bit of that black fleck on there. I think that was from the printing, but the handle itself appears fine. I don't see any issue with the rubber on it being damaged. Let's go to the lacquer thinner. As you can see, that all came off, the writing that was on the end. And as to the black rubber and the plastic, it was not affected. Alright, and now the seafoam. And I thought I would try the seafoam because it just had a nasty smell to it. But the seafoam had no effect on it. None whatsoever. Just trying to wipe the product off here. Seafoam did nothing to this. Now if we take a look at the seafoam that I used, it does state that it contains petroleum distillates and isopropanol, which I assume to be like alcohol, but it did not affect the writing, the printed writing on the screwdriver, as did the gasoline and the lacquer thinner. Now looking at the gasoline soaked screwdriver, it did appear to didn't do anything to the surface. It did somewhat discolor, and I'll try to clean that off. We'll see if it'll clean off, but it did somewhat at this point kind of make it milky white, the black. The lacquer thinner was did a little bit to that, made it a little bit milky white here, as you can see. And the seafoam had absolutely no ill effect. And the reason I tried the seafoam is just that it smelled so bad. And it said it had the petroleum distillates and stuff. I just assumed that that may have an effect. But I think most guys around the shop are going to end up with gasoline and like a lacquer thinner, something that is going to be a little more, I don't know what the word is, but a little more harmful possibly to the product, to the screwdriver handle. So I'm going to try this pre-mixed product, Simple Green. I use Simple Green, and sometimes with the bottles you'll get, with the gallon jugs, you'll get this already pre-mixed stuff. So let me spray some. I'm going to rag. This is the gasoline one. I'm going to see if the gasoline can be wiped up, the discoloration. I will spray some directly on it. I sprayed some directly on it. I didn't want to get it on anything else. So we'll see what happens here. So there's a little bit, but it cleaned up pretty well. And again, the best thing is it did not harm the actual rubber, nor the plastic. So at the very most, it just took off the writing that was on it. Alright, let's try some of that Simple Green on the lacquer thinner. Screwdriver that was soaked in the lacquer thinner. See if we can get some of that off. By God, it looks like it's took all the discoloration or the white off. A little bit right there. Yeah, there is a little bit there. So it didn't all come off, but again, did not affect the rubber nor the plastic on the handle of the screwdriver. And as to the seafoam screwdriver, obviously we have to do nothing to it as nothing happened. So other than the white that it left on both the gasoline and a little bit from the lacquer thinner, there was no ill effect to the screwdriver handle, the rubber or the plastic. The only thing that it did cause was the printed part to come off. And I don't find that to be a major issue. Normally when I'm wiping something off with lacquer thinner, and I'll do a quick test here, I wipe it on a rag and a towel or a rag, and then I'll just wipe it down, and that's it. It's never soaked. But this was, again, just to test the actual rubber and the plastic. How would it hold up? I would say they held up just great. Alright, so here's my spray bottle of lacquer thinner that I use. Let me spray some on my towel. We'll take the seafoam screwdriver test, since it was not affected, and I'll just go like this, because normally this is what I would do. If I have grease on a screwdriver or a tool, I normally like to get it off, and I would go like this, clean it up, and that would be it. I wouldn't do anything more to it. I wouldn't wipe it down with anything. It'd be this simple. But doing it one more time and just going like this, it doesn't stay on. So lacquer thinner, so the only thing that we can say that would be affected from these screwdrivers, as far as chemical that I've used, which would be probably more common around, would be just the imprint would come off. And the main thing is you don't want the integrity of the handle to be damaged. And I do like this design. I like the fact that it's round. I can push down like this if I want to with my hand as I turn it to give it some force, palm of my hand. And I like the grip, the triangular, and it doesn't roll. So this is just what I wanted to test and see. I thought I'd get a close-up of these. This is the gasoline. Here's the lacquer thinner. And this is the seafoam.